Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. This is my first stream, so you have to bear with me. Okay. I'm going to do some analysis. Take a look at the high time frame first before I try and frame a trade. Go to some of these old drawings. I was just looking at the charts during London session, so I did a little bit of analysis, but not too much. I'll just chug these out for now. Okay, so swept this high inside of the daily value gap. We also fulfilled the daily gap as well. Preferably looking for a retracement into this area for a short down to this sell side full new week opening gap fill and potentially into this weekly FVG. Yeah, we are bouncing off this one though, but we'll see. Obviously, all-time highs. You've kind of got to be bullish unless there's some significant bearish structure. Excuse me. Okay. Let's drop down to the 15. So there's the daily. Move this over here for now. So when I was watching London, I actually spotted this beautiful setup on the M15, although I don't take M15 setups, but we swept this low inside of the MWOG, and yeah, I mean, this would have been a beautiful long. Just stop at the low. You could have targeted London high inside of this value gap here, or you could have looked for a full low resistance liquidity sweep into this higher M15 gap, and that would have been a 2R. So yeah, that would have been nice. But I don't take the M15, nor do I trade London session, so here's the H4, looking for a close above this if we're bullish, or a close below it if we're bearish. But ideally, I do want to see this get tapped into. So I'll mark out some liquidity zones, some buy side. More buy side here. Again, all of this is inside of this H4 fairway gap. If we are going to go long into this area, ideally, you want to see a retracement. Essentially into this area. Discount, we have an unfilled fair value gap here, M15, and also this one here. And there's equal lows, actually. Let me see what those equal lows look like. See, these are prime targets, so this automatically makes me think that we're going to come and sweep these equal lows before running higher. I'll also mark the M15 fair value gap just below. It looks like it's rejecting off one here, but again, this isn't really a zone that I would like to see anything come off of, and it's still pre-market. 5 minutes till market opens. And obviously we have the buy side here from pre-market. Okay. I'll mark out this as well since we are rejecting off it currently. I'll clean this all up once we get down to the lower time frames. And it did sweep this high inside of the fair value gap too. Excuse me. Okay. So the reason why you'd want to mark the impulse move from here to here is because this range here is balanced. It came back and tapped EQ. I just tried to show you with my hand and can't do that. So yeah, tapped EQ here, so that's why you would go from here, because this range hasn't tapped EQ yet. Now if this came down, if this wick came down here and tapped EQ, which would be like around here, then you would measure from that low. But since it didn't, this is the range for now. I'll head down to the 5. I'll move this H4 across since it's irrelevant for now until we get a closure. Fix this. So we got 3 minutes until market open. If we get a close below this M15, I'm going to expect these equal lows to get run for a potential tap into this M15, and then we can run up and we can go towards Asia high, this buy side over here, and also this H4 zone, which I want to see tapped before potentially moving lower, because the only real buy side after this is obviously this minor buy side here and unfilled inefficiencies, but it's just all-time highs, really. I mean, there's like some, apologies for the yeah, I mean it's pretty much just all-time highs. So. And this daily fair value gap is rejecting price over what, 4 days, 3 days. So I at least want to see the end dog get filled before we run up back into all-time highs. If we do. Looks like a bunch of lines on the chart. Oh. Alright. Now we wait. There's those equal lows I marked earlier. The M15 that we're rejecting off of. This is the M15 that I want to see get closed or closed above in the next minute or so. Soon find out. Okay, so there's the market open closure. We closed inside of it, so it's not really bearish, considering order flow is already bullish. But we'll see. 8:30 didn't expand or manipulate, so we can expect some sort of Judah swing coming into market open. So perhaps the Judah swing is down to these equal lows, reject off EQ, and then run higher. That's just what I'm guessing. Let me see if I can draw a little something. You can find the pen tool. Guess not. Pen tool. Right, looks like no pencil anyway. I never use the pen tools, I don't even know where to look. Brush, is that it? Oh, there we are. Oh, it's a bit. Oh, okay. Well, I give up with the brush. I'm not doing that. Okay, so we came down. What is it that we've tapped here? An order block, M5. There's also a 2-minute fair value gap here. Okay, not really much for us at the minute. I'd rather see it come back down to EQ. These equal lows are just too primed to be trying to take a long off of this. Not that there is one. There's not even one on the 30-second either. We just wait. There's a lot of built up liquidity here as well, so I think that we can definitely expect to run higher today. Unless I'm just completely wrong in the market tanks, but doesn't matter to us, we just react. We've got a small liquidity sweep here. Nothing major. It might be enough to drive price down lower for us. If higher is the target, then it wouldn't need to have swept any more liquidity. Alright, looks like we just go higher. Fair enough. That's why there's this area is still primed for a retracement, so we'll see. Market's only been open for 4 minutes, so this could be a Judas. So we did end up rejecting off that M15. And then the M2. Let's see if we just sweep this high and retrace lower. We'll be looking for a SMT as well. I've got ES's chart right next to this one. You can't see it on the stream, but it's there. And I'll mark an ESMT if I see it, which there isn't currently. There is relative equal highs here though. Let's see if that high gets swept. If this high gets swept, I do not mind shorting into the equal lows. So we're still rejecting off the M15 fair value gap here. So I wouldn't, if this closed below, I wouldn't take this as we left this high just intact. But hypothetically, it would be about a 1 to 2 hour. We just wait. Okay, so there's the high. Now, is this a turtle soup? Or is it a break? Let's see. That's a pretty nice momentum candle. Again, there was nothing off this M2. There was no setup, so nothing valid. Not that we would have taken it anyway, because we're looking for a retracement back down to here. At least these equal lows swept. But this would be ideal, this sort of area. If we just sweep here, this indicates to me that price wants lower. I like that. I'm gonna enter there if we get it. If price closes below this 30-second fair value gap here. Okay, I'm in shorts here. Down to these equal lows. That's my stop. 24670. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The setup's there. We're in deep premium. I'll move my stop to break even if we take out this low here. I'll also take some partials right here. Okay, so there's the break even. I'll move my stop now. And here's partials. So I entered with 5 micros. I'll take 3 off at this low, and then the equal lows, I'll take the remaining 2 off. We'll see where this goes. If this rejects here, this is why we move our stop to break even. So it would just indicate to me that we might be choppy for AM. But this is a stream went off for a second there. Yeah, if we keep going, I'm going to leave a runner down to EQ, which is around 645. See what price wants to do. We could come back into this M1 gap here. But again, if it comes any higher, my stop is at break even. So it will just stop me at break even and most likely go with hours. But that's where discipline comes in, and that's where patience comes in. If this comes to stop me at break even, it's just another statistic. Because this setup is pretty A+, I'm not gonna lie. Just look at this rejection work. The only thing that I don't really like about this is how we left the Asian high. But it doesn't really matter because we still got, you know, the textbook setup here. There's also volume imbalance as well, so another stacked PD array. I know it's tiny, but it's there. And this wick just indicates exactly what I said. Okay, so it looks like there's my partials. Okay, so there's TP1. Here is TP2. So I've got one micro coming off there at these equal lows. Let's see. Let's go down to the 30-second, which is the time frame we entered on. So we do have this fair value gap above. I wouldn't mind a tap into this, would indicate price driving lower. If we get a tap into this area, I'm more inclined to even try and take the runner lower. But it will literally just be one micro. If we don't get a tap, EQ is where I'm going to take full profit. Again, if we close above this, now that's my cue to exit the position. But I definitely don't mind a tap. And there's an M1 stack as well. There we are. That's fuel to the fire. Down you come. Okay, and there's these equal lows I'm targeting. I do not want to see this get inversed right before equal lows because that would just indicate chop. I don't really want to be saying chop. Just sit and wait. So the fact that we've got a 30-second, an M1, and an M2 all stacked is just, is what you want to see really. Now I wouldn't mind price coming and tapping this, but it'd have to be a wick. I wouldn't want this closed above and then tap it. That would indicate a reversal to me, even though we haven't swept any liquidity apart from this. Although there is a gap here that could be rejected off, but it did close below on the M2. We'll see. As long as one of the time frames, 30-second, M1 or M2, stays inside the gap and doesn't body close above, we're good. Excuse me. Okay, so all of these candles body closed above, which isn't great for our position. And break even. Oh, yeah. I don't know why price left these equal lows. It's quite strange to me. Normally these are run straight away. But we took some nice profit. Have a look how much we took. $318 in profit there. I would definitely take that. Okay. I'm not gonna even anticipate taking a long position with these equal lows below, especially because we didn't even tap EQ. This just indicates a false move for me. So maybe if we sweep this high, we could get another re-entry down to these equal lows. Build this BPR. This is a big momentum candle. I don't normally like shorting against these unless we get a nice closure. But like I say, we'd have to sweep some sort of liquidity to want to target these equal lows again. Remove some of these drawings. So there's the M3 gap that I marked. Let's see if it closes above that. It's not a valid sell if it does, so I won't be taking it, but out of curiosity. So we've got our piece of cake for today, so I'm not too interested in taking another position unless it's pristine. You see, this move was, beautiful price action. This is exactly what you want to see, but this isn't great. Just missing the equal lows by, what's that, like 3 ticks. Missing EQ as well. If this setup had presented below these equal lows and had just tapped this EQ, this would have been perfect buy setup, and I would have actually just changed my position to buys. I would have fully closed and changed my position to buys, but because we didn't tap the equal lows, which were enable us drawn liquidity, we had the unfilled FEG below, EQ. This is just a primed area for, you know, a liquidity sweep at a reversal, but we just missed it, so no valid buy, which is also why I didn't full close my position. I expected this M3 to hold up, to go back down, but we didn't. Let's see what the 10 o'clock macro does as we get a liquidity sweep and then a short setup back down. This indicates to me that price is bearish, because the fact that we left these equal lows and the EQ makes me think that it's been left for later in the day. So, excuse me. Yeah, makes me think that this has been left for later in the day. So it makes me think that we're going to come up and potentially tap into this H4 and then come down and take it, or even a potentially higher retracement to this area. An OT entry is perfectly aligned with this H4 gap here. Swept the high by a tick. This isn't great price action. So there's Asia high. And this is why you take partials, by the way. If I'd have just tried to take full TP here, then we would have made nothing on that trade, except for a little bit of losing fees. But yeah, even the most prime targets, you've still got to be cautious and make sure you take your partials. So there's Asia high. There's more rest and buy side liquidity here. I still want these equal lows. This does bring our equilibrium up slightly. If it keeps running, then equal lows will be in discount of the range. Just wait and see. Is there any other unfilled gaps? Yeah, let's go to the M50. No, I mean, this is pretty low resistance up to here. Honestly, there's not too much. There's a couple of M5, but these guys are small. I'll mark them anyway, but I doubt price will react off these. More. Actually, there's a big M3, so I'll actually mark this out because it's bigger than the M5s. I'll just switch this to M3. No, this is like the only sort of resistance up to these highs. There's nothing else. Now there is relative equal highs from lunch yesterday, and then this is all low resistance on the low time frame. So I guess I'll mark out these equal highs too. And then there is this high inside of the M3. It's kind of swamped by our retracement line. Anyway, there's a OTE for the H4 range. Yeah. And there's the tap into the gap as well. There's 3 minutes left until this closes, so this makes me think that we're going to get a H4 inversion here, which indicates bullish price action. So, yeah, order flow will be bullish, and we can only hope for a retracement back to our key zone, which is these equal lows. But looking like this, we might not get it. And I'm alright with that. We've already got our slice. So okay, so those equal lows are now in discount. There's the M3. And also that high that was inside of the M3 fair value gap. It's rejecting off of that. Again, this doesn't indicate reversal to me. We'll have to see what 10 a.m. brings. This is too tiny to take a setup off of. M2 is not bad, but this is just such a huge move. I just don't see how. I mean, we could enter light, like way size down risk, just to see what it does. Potentially catch a big move. It is coming up to 10 a.m. now. But this just does indicate bullish to me. See how this H4 looks like it's going to close. So we might get the retracement then, since we are rejecting off the H4 gap. I don't like that we tapped into this before closing below this one. If it closed here without tapping this, I'd be more inclined to take a short. This makes me more inclined to want to wait for a higher time frame gap. Or we could wait for a continuation. So we closed out this M2 here. Well, we will close out. It's got 20 seconds left. We get a big tank on the H4 here. There's the M2. Now, what I'd like to see is price come back up and then give us a 30-second confirmation entry down lower rather than just keep tanking. So there's 10 a.m. See. Essentially, we get a rejection off EQ here. Let me just delete this fib for the H4 range. We don't really need it more. Maybe we can get some sort of 30-second confirmation. That's a big M15 wick. There's EQ. Are we just going to blast straight past this? if we just continue to tank, I think that will be me for the day. It's tapped the zone I wanted it to tap. It didn't really give us an entry off it. At least nothing really valid. This is a bit messy. You always want to be looking for a singular gap like this one here, and also this one here. These are prime. But yeah, the multiple gaps on the multiple time frames, it's just a little bit too risky. A much lower win rate when you take setups like that. And you might see why. So we're getting a rejection off the EQ. Price now running slightly higher. I want to see this M2 tapped here. You should move this. I want to see this M2 here get tapped into in a 30-second of that. Or you can just continue to run higher. That makes sense. So we have this large area that's in discount that's completely unfilled. So we've got two sell-side objectives which have been left completely unfilled. We have EQ, these equal lows, M15 here, and then these imbalances just in discount of this market open range. So I do still anticipate shorts. We'll see. It's still early in the session. I'm not really looking for anything else though. So if you know the sub presents itself, I'll take it. But I'm definitely not going to force anything. So this M2 closes. Looks like we're going to get an M2 closure too. This for me also isn't valid because there's no liquidity sweep here. There's no lows that have been taken. Yeah, we rejected off the 50% with a closure above this IFEG, but you're in premium. You haven't had a liquidity sweep apart from this, and you've got multiple draws lower. The only thing really higher is just the only thing really you've got going for you is the bullish order flow. But like I said, I wanted to see a retracement down to the equal lows, tap into the M15, and then for a run higher. You need a liquidity sweep for it to be an A+, and I don't take anything besides an A+. This was an A+. The fact that there was no body closure over the high as well, it just indicates that this is a sweep and not a continuation. Let's see. Got a little mini retracement into the M2 there. Let's drag these over a little bit as we head later into the session. I like to keep everything around like certain times just so it's all neat and I can see what's what, you know. Don't need this anymore. Don't need this anymore. The M15 is inversion. And keep it there since it rejected off it. Don't need the LRLR. I'll leave the outlier position though. The fact that we're slowing down here makes me indicate that we might just see another sweep or even a potential SMT. But let's wait and see. Again, if we come down and inverse this, there's no sweep. So it's not valid. And there's no SMT either. You can have there's a small SMT on the 30-second, but these don't matter too much. Plus it didn't sweep out this high. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, really. You can have a A plus setup with no liquidity sweep as long as there is an SMT, but you can't have the other. Excuse me. You notice how price is stalling in this M2. If this was an A plus, this most likely would have just run higher, but it wasn't. There was no low. There was no internal lows that were swept. Obviously, there is resting liquidity below as well. That's why price is stalling right now. And what would make more sense if it wants to run higher without rebalancing these equal lows is to come down into the discount zone of this leg, fill these inefficiencies, or one of them, and take this low. Now you have liquidity sweep, you have the inefficiencies tapped, you'll be in discount, and if SMT lines up too, then that would be a valid long. But you would still have to be cautious and downsize risk just because of these equal lows are still there. I still have a sell side draw which hasn't been tapped yet, so longing against the draw. For me, equal lows are a very obvious draw. Yeah, it's not usually a good idea. Gonna nip to the top. I'll be right back. Okay. Again, this isn't great. Like, you've had this gap close below, close above, close below again, and then you've had a gap on a lower time frame, close back above, above. Yes, it hasn't closed below this one, but there's still the rest in drawn liquidity. Let's see how this reacts of this high. Still got this gap here. It looks like it's just going to power through it. Very minor liquidity sweep. Yeah. But not much else, to be honest. Again, not an A+. Could be heading for these lunch highs. Let's buy some liquidity here. Let's see how this looks on the higher time frame. It's a shame that we didn't get these equal lows here. There's not even an SMT. This would have just been so clean. And price was already looking bullish. I thought maybe we get some short-term bearish price action, but absolutely nothing. Price just rocketed. It is what it is. The market's unpredictable. Just rallying at this point. Say this, you look at this and you're like, why don't you take this? Well, I'll explain why I didn't take this. It's long, I'll do it right now. Let me just okay, so the reason why I didn't take this 3-minute inversion here. Yes, you had the sweep of liquidity here, where my first short take profit was, but it didn't tap into an imbalance apart from on the lower time frame, which is valid, but you don't want to be taking these when you have a resting drawn liquidity just below. It missed these equal lows by 2-3 ticks with a unfilled M15 fair value gap just below. Now, something that I am noting just after looking at it, there is an SMT at these lows. ES took this low, NQ didn't, but they're still equal lows. You know, you shouldn't really be longing against them or shorting against them unless you have some real key confluences. And at the time, we hadn't even rebalanced EQ. If we rebalanced EQ, it would have, yeah, I mean, you could have taken it. But we hadn't even rebalanced EQ, so it's just, these ones aren't that great of a win rate. You want to be taking something absolutely pristine. Like, why wouldn't you wait for EQ? Why wouldn't you wait for the equal lows to get ran to make sure you had that extra edge? It's just how it is. I mean, if you take too much of these, you're going to be losing more than you're winning, and that's not what you want to do. So you've just got to have patience. You've got to be selective. And that's how you win in this game long term. So no buy side sweep yet. We're still rejecting off this H4. So still powering into this H4. Some buy side liquidity here and lunch highs. But these are really the only resistance now until this high here. Oh, I said all-time highs earlier. I mean, yeah, technically, actually, once we take New York AM high, then there's not really much, but other than that, yeah. Again, nothing valid here. It's not taking any buy side apart from this. And there is too many inefficiencies below. Count as a singular inversion. Now this M3 doesn't look bad, but again, we've just missed liquidity. Actually, we swept this PM high here by like a tick, and that is an SMT. But like this, look at the sweep. It's literally one tick, which isn't really enough for a liquidity sweep. I don't really count those. I just count them as relative equal highs, which are also a tier drawn liquidity. So yeah, not great price action today. I mean, it might look okay, it might look good, but not really when you actually think about how price is behaving here. Excuse me 1 second. Apologies. There we are. Sorry about that. Here's my phone for my webcam. So, got a call, random call. It's kind of messed me up with that one. Okay. Too high. Where? Do we get EQ of at least this range? We did. Just. Gain. Discount PD arrays. Untapped. Which I don't really like. This might be our rejection for at least some liquidity, maybe this discount area. Maybe this is a bit of a stretch as for right now. It's quite a large move this late in the session. We'll see. All I can see is price going higher. I just don't really see, and that like unless we get some solid bearish structure, because there's no like momentum, there's no rejection momentum. It's just stalling, creeps up, stalling, creeps up. This isn't really the best price action. All right, well, I think I'm going to call it anyway for this this session. We managed to take some profits here. We took a total of, let me count the points. Where did we get stopped out here? Why are we not letting me get? We took a total of 57 points with 3 micros, thereabouts, and then the rest was stopped at break even. Give or take some given for entry and some fees and stuff, but yeah, that's the trade today. Hope you guys, anyone that watched found the stream insightful. I'm gonna be doing more of these. I'm gonna try and do them every trading day. Hopefully teach some people some key insights about the market. Yeah, if you enjoyed, drop a like, and thank you.